emailing to the newspapers designated by the board, the local source, and the Star Ledger, posting on the district's website, the main bulletin board, in the administration office, and in each Roselle Borough school. Emailed to the clerk of Roselle Borough and posted on the Borough of Roselle website. If everybody could please rise as we do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Dr. Simmons, if you can please do the roll call.
Hello? Dr. Atkins? Here. Ms. Bond?
Here.
Vice President Chavez?
Here.
Mrs. Cortez?
Here.
Ms. Santos? Ms. Tunnage?
Present.
Dr. Washington? President Washington? Mrs. Washington?
Here.
Ms. Woody? And our two student representatives, Mr. Affery?
Here.
And Mr. Emmett?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Dr. Simmons. Now is the time for the board to go into executive session. In order for us to go into executive session is to discuss the issues that were in confidentiality as consistent with NJSA 10:4-12 for matters of attorney-client privilege, contracts, legal litigation, negotiations, personnel, and student matters. The minutes will be made available to the public upon request when the confidentiality of the subject is no longer warranted. May I have a motion and a second, please? Second? Roll call. All in favor? Aye. We'll be back from executive session in approximately 1 hour. Thank you.
For your patience. I'm going to reconvene. May I have a motion to return from executive session? Franz Cortez, second.
Chavez.
Ms. Chavez, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, we have several presentations on the agenda tonight. We have the Junior ROTC presentation of colors, our board president's report, committee updates, student representatives. We have our superintendent's updates, and we also have another presentation by Ms. Roselle Harding that we've added to the agenda. And we will be discussing the presentation of the school budget. So first and foremost, can you all join with me and rise for the ROTC presentation of colors?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Turn, colors. Right, feet, cut. Right, face. Forward, forward. Color. Over. Here. Color. Feet, cut. Color. This.
Thank you very much. Next, I'm just going to give a quick board president update. So first I want to start by saying, and I don't think that we do this enough, congratulations to our Roselle Lady Rams on their season opening win this past Friday. They won 20-6 over Scotch Plains Fanwood. And I want to say those ladies showed dedication, teamwork, and discipline. And I'm wishing them a successful season as we move forward. I also want to recognize Women's History Month, and I want to extend, on behalf of the Board of Education, our deepest appreciation to the women across our district, administrators, teachers, and staff, who all lead, inspire, and shape the future of our scholars each day. Your impact is invaluable. I just want to say, on this agenda and for tonight, our work remains grounded in the district's core priorities: academic achievement, student well-being and social-emotional learning, community and family engagement, fiscal and operational responsibility. These priorities continue to guide our decision-making and align with our Vision 2027 framework. And actually, when we started our strategic plan a couple of years ago, 2027 seemed far, far off in the distance, and next year it'll actually be here. So with that, key agenda items that are on here for tonight is Autism Awareness Month recognition. It recognizes our students and families and the educators who work with our students in the district. And it's a continued emphasis on early intervention and specialized supports. So I hope you all will take some time to attend any district sponsored autism awareness work. I believe there's an autism walk coming up. Do we have the date for the autism walk, Ms. Preston?
Yes.
April 15th. Autism walk is April 15th, and I will probably be here at our Arminio Field. And that's right when we come back from spring break. So hopefully, you out there in the community, people in this room, you will attend. It's always a good time, and it's for a great cause. We'll also be reviewing our tentative budget for the 2026-2027 school year. It's very healthy. Some key items that they will discuss with you, our interim BA will discuss with you, is that our tax levy is stable. They've made strategic use of our reserves and fund balances, and we continue to make an investment in student achievement and district priorities. Some considerations for our budget was we had some rising costs. Everything is going up, whether it's special education services, our health benefits, and transportation. We all know, we've been following the news, we have a reduction in federal funding. There's an increased demand for services, and our pre-K enrollment is up. But despite these challenges, our budget reflects a commitment to fiscal responsibility while prioritizing student success. In closing, our work as a board remains clear and focused to provide the best possible educational experience for every student in Roselle by staying aligned in our purpose and intentional in our actions. We will continue to move forward together with our students at the center of every decision. Yes, Ms. Clark?
It's Saturday, April 18th, and the rain date is April 25th.
Thank you. So the Autism Walk is Saturday, April 18th, rain date Saturday, April 25th. So I want to make that correction, but thank you. I'll hand this mic over to Dr. Fisher for his, board committee updates. So we can start with the curriculum committee. Do you have your notes? Is in your iPad? Who has theirs ready? Okay, policy?
Thank you.
You have to talk to me. There it goes.
There's, okay. Oh, in and out. It's working. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Madam President. The policy committee met on March 16th at 6 p.m. Through Zoom. The following items were discussed: policy 1220, which is the superintendent's employment. The board, the committee actually is recommending that we, as a board, had two options, and consensus on option one, which allows the Board of Education to establish criteria rather than requiring fixed qualifications. We also discussed policy 2530, the resource materials. This has to do with recommending revisions to improve clarity and structure. Especially, the committee agreed that detailed procedures should be removed from the policy and placed within the corresponding regulation, since policy defines what is expected and regulation outlines how it's implemented. We also had to table a policy 9130 for further discussion so that we can have more information from our council and compare it to other policies from the district. That concludes my report for this month, Madam President.
Thank you. Any questions? Are you ready? Okay. Ms. Santos will be curriculum.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So the curriculum committee met March 9. There were several topics discussed, so I'm just going to go over briefly. We discussed about professional development. We also, Dr. Perez gave us a briefing about the new state test, GPA test. So she discussed briefly how the new test is going to be for this year. We also discussed about the translation during the meetings for the community, and the board expressed our need for having the meeting translated in a few of the languages that we have in the district. We also discussed a little bit about the grading policies. We would like to learn more about it, and we will continue the discussion about the grading policy. And that's it for now.
Thank you. Personnel?
Thank you, Madam President. Okay, the Personnel Committee met on March 10th. In the Personnel Committee, we reviewed the personnel portion of the agenda. We also had other discussions. We talked about the business administrator vacancy and the candidates that applied. Interviews have not started as of yet. We also discussed the breakage report. We had a climate and culture specialist discussion, and this specialist will present to the board. The superintendent talked to us about his plans for this position and how he wants to expand the role. And the board also discussed how we would effectively evaluate the climate and culture program. And this concludes our personnel report.
Thank you. Final?
Thank you, Madam President. So we met for the Finance Committee on March 9th at 7 p.m. In attendance, we had Dr. Fisher, Dr. Simmons, myself as the chair, and Commissioner Dr. Courtney Washington, and Commissioner Tanisha Turnage, and our assistant PA, Mr. Tebow. Discussion items included the Title I and IDA grants. Dr. Simmons discussed the recent approvals of Title I and IDA grants, mentioning that additional allocations are expected to increase in the budget. She outlined the necessary motions for the budget, including general fund totals, special revenues, debt services, travel expenses, and potential allocations. Item 2 that was discussed, school services and RFP planning meeting. The team discussed plans to issue RFPs and bids for various services for the 2006 and 2007 school year, aiming to have them awarded by May to allow vendors to start work by July 1st. Item number 3 that we discussed was the procurement of food service updates, meetings focusing on procurement decisions on food service improvements. The team discussed whether to go to market for auditors, and Dr. Simmons explaining that since the current auditor is within recommended 5-year review period, there's no need to seek new bids at this time. And that's just a synopsis of some of the topics that we discussed for our financing committee.
Thank you. Ms. Woody is absent, so I'm just going to read a couple of bullet points from her committee report, but the rest you guys will find in the folder this evening in this afternoon. So in the Buildings and Grounds Committee, they discussed some high priority items such as modular replacements across the district. The high priority replacements are at Harrison, the art trailer, and ACHS, the cafeteria. Those will be examined first. The completion date has been moved to August 2027. There was the building conditions assessment that will continue during spring break, and on April 2nd, with the priority being health and safety related improvements. The long-range facility plans and maintenance plans will be updated. From a technology standpoint, 150 Acer Chromebooks have been received and are ready to be used for standardized testing. I believe they were already deployed into the district. Additional items that were discussed were school cleanliness. Some board members brought up the fact that some of our schools don't look as clean as they should. To help mitigate that and to kind of identify where teachers will be asked to give a report each morning regarding the issues with their room cleanliness. And that was a suggestion by someone that has that at their school. From a maintenance standpoint, there are chairs missing or broken in the auditorium at Polk and at this school, in the ACHS high school. As the building is old, replacements are hard to find. All of the chairs would need to be replaced with a new set. The chairs at issue will be blocked off for now until money can be found in capital reserves for the replacement project. The total cost has been requested for the vendor that was needed to complete snow removal from the last storm. We're still awaiting the final numbers. Bleachers will be repaired at ACHS. And our facilities manager will conduct professional development at the close of school so that the maintenance crew will have additional skills to be able to get campuses ready for September. That ends this part of that report. And from an ad hoc committee standpoint, and a pre-K, special services standpoint, we discussed updates to pre-K registration. That information has gone out, has already been blasted. Registration starts April 1st, closes May 1st. Just because it's registration doesn't mean your child will get in. There is still a lottery that will happen later in the summer. I think that we've asked Ms. Coleman to ensure that it goes out in other areas, because just because we send it to parents in Genesis, there's a segment of our community that aren't parents yet, so they need to be able to get that information. So we need to be able to communicate that to the wider community. We talked about the autism walk, which I just announced, and there was a concern about children being present for IEP meetings, and what we discussed is that at a certain age, specific student level requirements, and it's legal for students to be present legally for their IEP meetings. Overall, other than pre-K readiness, the Presbyterian Church is ready. They have all their technology has been installed. And the teachers are happy there. And that was really it. From an ad hoc committee perspective, we discussed that the Dr. Fisher and the ad hoc committee team have been meeting with Laura Bishop and her PR firm. They're coming up with communications guidance. We have to develop a communications committee that will help us decide taglines and things like that, and have that input and help us with the overall communications and preparation for the referendum. Let's see, am I missing anything? No. And that's it from an ad hoc and special services standpoint. That ends all these reports. We have to make sure that they get updated into the committee folders for everyone. Student representatives report Mr. Daniel Apiri and Andrew M. Daniel. You want to go first? Followed by the superintendent's updates and the culture and climate presentation, and a presentation by Lisa Hardy of Stepping Stone.
Good evening. First and foremost, we are pleased to announce that we, the student body, performed extremely well during the middle stage review. Both our tech team and the students involved in the Portrait of a Graduate middle stage team did an outstanding job and received high praises. We are proud to share that both board representatives, myself and Andrew, were part of this team. And as a result of everyone's hard work, our school has been accredited for the next 7 years. Secondly, the juniors have just completed their NJGPA testing, and we are currently administering makeup exams. And with that being said, we are now returning to our regular teaching schedule. As for our student portfolios, these are a graduation requirement for some of our seniors, and they're currently being completed. The students have multiple opportunities to work on their portfolios, which include before school at 7 a.m., during their lunch periods, after school, and within the STARS program that we have as well. We are also in the process of a credit recovery for some of the students who are missing out on credits, as well as C-time, and those students who are completing C-time have sessions held before school, after school, on Saturdays, and in the STARS program. And these efforts are to support their attendance requirements. Lastly, I'd like to say that the staff at Big Grand Park is getting a special praise for providing us every possible opportunity for our students to successfully graduate. Thank you.
And before I announce him, I would like to congratulate you, Andrew M.A. I had you in my notes for going to the Meet of Champions last weekend. So that was an excellent opportunity, and congratulations on getting there.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We would like to extend our sincere thanks to the Board of Education and the Superintendent for passing resolutions that support our ability to meet our goals and graduate. As the seniors prepare for prom and graduation, the guidance counselors and Ms. Harry sent out a link for us seniors to choose this year's theme for the prom, and majority of the seniors chose, as you just said. I would like to share that I made it to New Jersey Mid Champions, where the best athletes in New Jersey get to compete against each other, and I also qualified for Nike Nationals in New York City, where athletes around the world also. And I would like to thank everyone on the board for all the congratulations, thank you, blow-ups, reposts that everyone did. And I also like to thank my coach down here, Mr. Fields, for all the hard work and training that he's done for me, and without him, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Now we'll have superintendent updates.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let me begin to just quickly thank everyone for joining us this evening, particularly our folks that are here in the auditorium, our students, our staff, and those who are on our YouTube channel. Thank you for being here, as always, and thank you for being a part of what I call One Roselle. As we hit the 119th day of the 180 days of this 25-26 school year, tonight's report really provides a comprehensive snapshot of some of the district operations, instruction, student support, fiscal stewardship, and long-range planning as we continue to work toward Vision 2027. This month, Roselle Public Schools continue to remain operationally strong, instructionally purposeful, and steadfast as we focus on our students, from our youngest scholars to our graduating seniors. Tonight, what I'll do is quickly give you a span of some of the things that transpired during the month of March as we reflect on the district as it moves forward with clarity, commitment, and community. As many of you have already known from the community and communication transparency perspective, the Rambler, which has been provided to our families via our mailers, but we also continue our efforts in the Rambling On, which has been published for the month of March on March 2nd, 10th, 16th, and which provides continuous real-time updates of all the activities and academic initiatives and community events that transpired in the month of March. Each edition thus far has focused on one aspect of the Vision 2027, keeping our commitment to keep families informed, engaged, and connected. Back on March 5th, the superintendent conducted a conduct conversation community forum, which is an opportunity to share with the community about the happenings across the district. We were very transparent. We offered some clarity. We shared an understanding about student behavior, expectations, and school climate, and those supports that we have in place for each and every student. It was held here at Abraham Clark High School in conjunction with the necktie event, encouraging our students to actively engage in leadership attributes, as well as learning how to tie a tie. I know there's Read Across America, but we call Read Across Roselle Week, and throughout that week we were very excited to continue to push forward with our Read Across Roselle initiative across all schools. Just to highlight Dr. Charles C. Polk School, they had a number of students who attended, who had guest readers who were representatives from many of the Divine Nine organizations who came in as guest readers. Additionally, at the Kindergarten Success Academy, I had a Sea of Blue represented at the KSA, showcasing reading to our literacy folks representing the Zeta Phi Beta organization. We had community safety and trust building activity where we partnered with the police chief for a number of initiatives transpiring at the beginning of this month, working with our student council representatives at all our schools across the district, taking the safety pledge. Great opportunity for our students to understand the core values and safety conversations for public safety and trust in the community. We're also looking forward to continue to partner with the police department on a collaborative project with the VPA department, which will be showcasing on a rotating art gallery at the Borough Hall. So we're excited about that initiative. We also had a wonderful opportunity where we had our ESS folks who came in and On our professional development day, provided some school avoidance workshops to our staff as well as our counselors, understanding the challenges that they face with students who face a school avoidance. Although Black History Month ended in the month of February, I can tell folks Black History is a 365-day of the year celebration, and LV Moore proved it when they held their Black History Month that got delayed because of the weather, and they pushed it back to early March, and I was very overwhelmed by a performance of the students doing spoken word, student-led performances, and I have to say they had this wonderful, wonderful opportunity where they had a LV Moore gospel choir. The students had me standing and clapping and shaking, and they were singing songs. So certainly I'll be bringing those students here to perform for the public because they did a phenomenal job. And that event also had Reverend Reginald Atkins, who also was a special guest, who gave the students some inspirational words. Our STEAM initiatives across the district, I'm very, very excited. As Dr. Washington mentioned, there are so many great things happening across the district. We were excited to send a team of ACHS students to Princeton Ignite STEM. Students actually came in 3rd place in an event. They were very excited because they created a project entitled Seawater Powered Vehicle Conversion. And it really stood out for its integration of chemical engineering, sustainability, and social equity. I was very proud of our students who had an opportunity to participate. We had a wonderful group of 5th and 6th graders who participated in an event over at the Broadway Center. They presented at an event called STEAM, You Be the Solution, New Jersey Regional Challenge. And it was a hands-on competition held by the Urban League of Union County and the BASF organization. The students again had an opportunity to pitch sustainable, focused startup concepts, and they are now advancing into phase 2, where they will produce a sustainable focused video for final judging. Harrison Elementary School, they're over there making food. I'm excited to know that they are creating, students are learning to use the hydroponic planting. And I believe we have Ms. Ringwood, Ms. Bach, Ms. Espin, who are nurturing crops of vegetables and flowers. So I'm very excited to see the students understanding the value of being patient and responsible as they learn gardening. As we prepare for the NJGPA, we're also getting ready for a host of assessments across the entire district. In the month of April, actually this month we're preparing, we've done some trial testing of our equipment, preparing for the upcoming testing season, and lots of things are ready and queued up upon our return. Our STEAM department, again, I can tell you so many things, but the STEAM machine is on the move. The STEAM machine is actually at Grace Wilden. Students had an opportunity to experience the STEAM Machines Visit Day, and the teachers had an opportunity to utilize the variety of equipment station on the machine. Excited that in our OT space, we have our upgraded phone system, which is actually going fully live as we transition from our old system. Right now, I believe we have a more reliable system. Hopefully, it'll be more efficient across the entire district, so time will tell in terms of the new upgrade across our system. The Special Ed Department hosted a virtual transition fair. Organizations from the Union County Surrogate Court, New Jersey Transit, Rutgers Travel, Independence Vocational Rehabilitation Services, the Commission for the Blind, Union County Art, all were there to present at this virtual transition fair. Lots of parents participated in that event, and I was very excited to see the host of information that was being provided. Kudos to our athletic director being honored at the 75th Annual Directors of Athletic Associations of New Jersey Convention on March 10th. Recognized as one of 24 African-American athletic directors in the state. He had received recognition for his diversity and equity student advancement work, so kudos to Dr. Griffin for his acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge we have our VPA department across the district had an opportunity to participate in the Union County Teen Arts Festival. Looking at all the accolades they received high levels of critiques from a lot of individuals, but they came out on top as always. Our G&T program here in Roselle hosted the Game On Convocation Just last week, 2 weeks ago, we hosted 7th graders from Elizabeth, and they actually had an opportunity to collaborate over at the Roselle Memorial Library. And I got so much great things. This is the narrative I'm going to continue to tell folks, that we are a social community activist organization. We partnered with a host of organizations from King University to the Roselle New Destiny Center to provide over 40,000 pounds of food to local organizations to feed those throughout our various communities. So big up to the King University, the Roselle New Destiny Center, and our district personnel who helped us distribute over 40,000 pounds of food. And it was in Last Friday, Friday the 13th, we were fortunate to have a SEL day where we provided SEL Wellness Day for our staff. We took an opportunity to say, let's practice what we preach, and we did in half a day for that particular day, and allowed our staff to have a personal self-care approach to their resiliency in this school climate. So thank you for our staff. Hopefully, as we talk about the whole child, we talk about the whole educator. And again, I'm going to just highlight a couple of points. Shout outs to Javon Kilpatrick, who was recognized in the New Jersey School Boards Association for being an unsung hero just a week ago. We want to congratulate him. Big up to the girls flag football team, which had their debut on Friday, and they showed up and showed out. They standout players out here. We had Kamori Bond, we had Nia Ricks, we had Leah Luzea, and Ashlyn Costello, who also showed up and showed out during that game. So big up to those young ladies. Shout out to the cheerleaders who placed first place. Coach LaRasia Clark and the Roselle Ram cheerleaders, first place victory at the Impact Cheer and Dance Competition at the Robert J. Collins Arena in Middletown. So the girls are working hard, and of course they delivered an impressive championship win. And on the fiscal side, just to give you a quick shout to this side, we will be presenting our preliminary budget for the 26-27 school year, aligned to our instructional priorities, our staffing needs, and fiscal sustainability. Our enrollment trend analysis has been conducted, our program of staff alignment has been conducted, and our long-term financial planning to support our Vision 2027 is queued up and aligned, and will be shared this evening. Just want to take an opportunity. I had the pleasure of taking a team out to Seattle, Washington, where we had an opportunity to have some deep learning, which began at the Microsoft Center, to the immersion exploration at the Seattle Aquarium. The team I took out there, we had an opportunity to visit the Kent School District and the Issaquah School District. Dr. Tavares, Mrs. Sades, and Dr. Potts and myself, respectively, watched and witnessed flourishing student engagement in career pathways and robotic programming. And additionally, our Harrison Elementary School team presented their Print Lab Entrepreneurial Financial Literacy and Career Readiness Project in conjunction with South Allegheny School District. And that was a high school group of students that were doing the same work our students were doing here in Roselle. This school district is located in Pennsylvania. So certainly it was a great opportunity for our talents to be showcased on a national level. I won't go all into it in this presentation, but be on the lookout, I'll repeat, be on the lookout for the capital improvements that are queued up across the district. One of the biggest ones you'll hear about our facility improvements as we push forward the bond referendum for our new school. I'm certainly excited about that opportunity. We're also going to be sharing out as we look to reconfigure our elementary schools, all 3 elementary schools. And we're also looking to do some additional work at the junior high school as well as the middle school. That information is forthcoming, but the configuration will allow us to do some advanced planning and some enhanced instructional initiatives across the district. So that information will be rolled out. And probably the biggest thing out of that on the back end is the exploration of what we call the 710 Transition Center, which is an innovative component of the district plan to create a transition center dedicated and designed to prepare students for adulthood and independent living. Some of those services will include independent living training, employment preparation, on-site retail experience, and much, much more. So we're very excited to really give a full presentation on the new school bond referendum. And finally, I just want to close out. I just kind of gave a snapshot of all the things that we've been doing for the month of March. Very exciting and very time consuming, but when you have a dedicated team such as our board commissioners and my district administrators, anything's possible. So what we don't say is enough is that we are on the move, and I want to encourage this community to kind of pay attention to the things that are happening across the Roselle Public School District. With that being said, we're going to continue to shift and transcend as we remain targeted with tenacity, and the Roselle Public Schools continues to celebrate these ongoing achievements that I believe are unwavering commitment to our dedication to excellence and equity. Let us remain Roselle strong and steadfast in our commitment to every student every day, because as I always tell everyone, it's because all students matter. Madam President, this concludes the superintendent's report for the month of March 2026.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher. Can you please take us through the HIB updates for March 2026?
Yes. Our harassment, intimidation, and bullying HIB investigations report window number 2 for the 25-26 school year. Incidents in training and programs for March 2026 are as follows. Kindergarten Success Academy reported 0 incidents being reported or investigated. Harrison Elementary School reported 1 incident and 1 incident reported as not being a HIB. Dr. Charles C. Polk reported 0 incidents for HIB investigations. Washington Elementary School reported 3 incidents that were reported and being investigated, and 3 concluded as not being a HIB. Leonard B. Moore Middle School reported investigated 4 incidents. 3 incidents were considered not to be a HIB, and 1 incident to be inconclusive. Grace Roday Junior High School had 1 incident that was reported and investigated, and 1 incident that was reported as not being a HIB. Abraham Clark High School reported 2 incidents that were being reported and investigated. 1 incident was confirmed as being a HIB, and 1 was reported as being inconclusive. For the month of March 2026, we had a total of 11 incidents that were reported and investigated, 1 that was confirmed as being a HIB, and a total of 8 that were considered not to be a HIB, and 2 that were concluded as being inconclusive. This concludes the HIB and investigation and bullying report for the month of March 2026.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher. Next up, we'll have a culture and climate presentation by Mr. Dale Fields, a culture and climate specialist. Is it? You need something?
Yeah, they go.
So can we join him? Can we move down board? Because we're also going to need to stay down for, we'll have Ms. Hardy present as well. And then, wait 1 second. Because can we adjust the agenda? Can I adjust the agenda really quick? Because I don't want us to go back and forth. So 1 second, Mr. Fields. Can we have this? The board, do you mind if we adjust the agenda to let Ms. Risa Hardy present, and then we go to Mr. Fields and the preliminary budget?
I make a motion.
Can I have a second? All in favor? Aye. So we've adjusted the agenda just so we have to change it in the presenting order. Mr. Fields, I apologize. May I have Ms. Risa Hardy come? Not yet. She's all presented. She just has something.
Okay, good evening, Madam President, Superintendent Fisher, and the members of the Board of Education.
My name is Roselle Hardy, this is Jamal Hardy, and we represent Stepping Stones Child Development Centers. We're here to present a proposal to partner with the district for our summer enrichment program for the summer of 2026. Our program is designed to prevent summer learning loss while keeping students engaged and active and socially connected. Our program provides a safe and structured, engaged environment for students throughout the summer. We previously had the opportunity of doing the before and after school service with you previously within the district, and we look forward to the opportunity of partnering with you guys again. For the schedule, depending on the district preference, we do operate from 6 to 9 weeks. We're currently hosting 3 summer school programs annually within the Irvington and the Hillside school districts. We've been in business for about 23 years. We're a full 12-month program where we do provide before and after school and summer school services. We do operate during the summer between Monday through Friday for the hours of 8 to 5. We do have the availability of open up early for 7:30, so we can't do 7:30 to 5. Some of our program highlights is that we do academic enrichment, arts and crafts, sports and games, weekly field trips. Now our field trips, we're active during the summer. We're out ability between 3 to 4 times a week. We're going to the movies, we're going skating, we're going bowling, and we do go to Splashplex every Friday. We do provide nutritious meals. We are contracted with the Child and Adult Food Program where we do follow the same guidelines as the district, where we have healthy, nutritious meals throughout the day. All of our staff are fully trained to be in accordance with the New Jersey Child Care regulations, including background checks, and also they are CPR and first aid certified. We welcome the opportunity to meet with you guys further to discuss any program details or locations or enroll expectations. And we thank you at this, for the time for considering us, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I don't see any questions. Ms. Hardy, can you give your information to Ms. Wait, do you have a question? Okay.
So are you planning to have a summer program in this district?
Yes.
And what location were you looking?
Well, you guys will decide how we do operate. In our previous district, we pick one location and we host grades from pre-K all the way up to 8th grade. So it'll be like a one-stop shop for our families to come. Like we'll have certain classrooms for, the age grades for the summer.
So you would accept subsidies?
Absolutely. We prefer subsidy programs. I do attend the monthly meetings, and fortunately they are considering in July bringing it back, because I don't know if some of you guys know, they had let go of the subsidy program for new parents, which affected statewide, but now they're bringing it back in July. So we are welcoming, like last time we were in the district, we sat, with families to try to get them approved and try to walk them through the process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're going to talk to your microphone. Sorry.
In terms of pricing for family, what does that look like?
So right now we're working with some members in the district on the funding because we're trying to make it affordable to the families. Again, like we accept subsidies, but we're coming in at a discounted rate. I have spoken with some of the members, President Washington, and we're trying to figure out some numbers so it can definitely be affordable.
Okay, thank you.
Can you give your information to
Will this be available? We have some students who have IEPs. Will this be available to all students?
Absolutely. Yes, we do not deny any students.
So you would have the teachers or individuals available who are trained to handle students that may be challenged?
It depends on what spectrum. So we do have staff that are trained but if it's like severe behavioral, being that's a short program, within the 6 to 9 weeks. We take them in because we do not deny any families, but we take it as a case-by-case situation to see if the program, being that we go out the building and they might need a one-on-one, so we take it on a case-by-case basis.
And you said you were working with people in this community. Who are those people?
No, not people in this community. We work with programs that help with students that's on the spectrum for autism and speech delay and all that type of stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have another question. Since you are going to be in this district and having a summer program, you're going to need more staff. Where are you going to pull your applicants for, let's say, junior counselors in your camp?
That's a good question. So we like to hire within the district like we did before. We hired within the schools, teachers, paras. We prefer to hire them first. Why? Because they're familiar with the families, they're familiar with the students. Also, we'll also pull some of our staff who are already trained. Like again, we've been in business like 23 years, so we do have annual trainings that we have to do, which is state mandated, to meet that request.
How long have you, how long have you done this before? What type of experience do you have? How many years of experience do you have with this program?
23 years, proudly.
How many?
23.
23. So what other districts or what other space have you worked in?
So we're currently in Hillside, we're currently in Irvington. We previously worked in North and we previously worked in Roselle.
So you're going to be working in those areas along with Roselle?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have the staffing for that?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any additional questions? Ms. Hardy, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for the time.
Can you please pass your information to Ms. Cluster so that she can give it to the superintendent?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Board members, can you join me down on this for Mr. Fields, and followed by Mr. Fields is our preliminary budget discussion. So make sure you have your budget done.
As close as you can to the laptop, make it easier for yourself.
Good evening, Dr. Fisher, Dr. Perez, Dr. Marshall Simmons, and the Board of Education members. This evening, I'm going to share an overview of the work that's being done by the Climate and Culture at Abraham Clark High School. My focus is to support students, improve behavior, strengthen attendance, and help create a safe and positive school environment. My work centers around school climate, student support, and accountability. I help make sure students, staff, and families feel supported. I also work to make discipline fair, consistent, while using data to guide us through the next steps. My daily responsibilities. Each day I work directly with students and staff. A large part of my day is meeting with late students, helping attendance concerns, and checking in with students that need extra support. I also supervise lunch duties, also help staff manage issues during the school day. And I guess you can see here, this is just an overview of how things are going so far this year. So for the school-wide discipline system, in this role, I help manage discipline in a way that's clear, fair, and organized. I process referrals, I keep reports up to date. My goal is to support their accountability while also helping students learn from, when they make bad choices at times. Okay. One important part of my work is preventing problems before they get bigger. Through daily check-ins, conflict mediation, and teamwork with administration, many situations are addressed early. This helps reduce the number of student fights and shows the value of building strong relationships with the students. Okay. I also use data to improve how we respond to students' behavior. By tracking the referrals and also looking at patterns, I identify repeat offenders, concerns, and then I also work with the counselors and also administration team to develop the best way to respond to these issues. This helps us be more proactive instead of only reacting after a problem happens. So identify the trends. So this data also helps us This data also helps us see the most common behaviors, concerns in the building. Many issues are related to classroom behaviors, phones, cutting class, and tardiness. Looking at these trends helps us decide where we focus our support and interventions on. I currently support students who have active behavior plans. This includes weekly and daily check-ins, progressing to making sure they're going through their plan, family communication, and making sure the plan is being followed thoroughly and full correctly. I also help lead the IRS process so students can get support early. So restorative practices. A big part, of course, is working using restorative practices. This means helping students reflect, repair harm, and return to the school community in a positive way. Instead of only focusing on punishment, the goal is growth, responsibility, and making better decisions. Attendance. Attendance is another major focus in this role. I review reports, I look at patterns of chronic absences, I meet with students, families, when concerns come up. We have a tier system so students can get help on a needed basis. So climate, family, and staff support. School climate is only strongest when students, families, and staff all work together. I regularly contact families with both concerns and positive updates. I also support staff and support engagement. I also support staff in student engagement and behavior strategies so that students can be successful in the classroom. Family engagement. Family partnership is very important in this work. Each week I hold meetings with phone calls and parent conferences to talk about attendance, behavior, student well-being, and these conversations help build trust and strength in the connection between the school and the community. I'm sorry. That's okay. So these are the student surveys here. We also gather student voices through surveys. The results show that many students feel that they are academically challenged, supported in school, and also informed about topics like online safety. This feedback is very important because it helps us understand directly from them and how they feel immediately. So this is the survey for the parents. Also gave us a lot of good feedback. Many families shared that they feel that the school is safe, respectful, a positive place for learning. This shows that the families see that the work being done and the value of the school environment we are building here. And staff collaboration. This work happens, this work definitely can't happen just by myself alone. I work closely with teachers, counselors, social workers, and administration to support the students. When students need to go a little bit beyond something like maybe I can't help, we use teamwork, collaboration to try to solve the young man or young lady's problem, and try to be very consistent with that. Safety. Safety is always the top priority. I help supervise key areas of the building, support re-entry after serious incidents, and serve as part of the threat assessment team. I also help monitor events and other times when students need to be supervised. In closing, this work is about building a school culture that is safe, supportive, and student-centered. Through discipline systems, attendance work, restorative practices, family communication, and staff collaboration, I continue to work to improve an outcome of the students. The next survey that we'll have during the next open house, we'll try to see the next progress to see what's the next measure. Thank you.
receive your referrals for the students that you are monitoring?
I received it through Genesis. So Genesis, we have a desktop, and then all the referrals come up. So if a teacher, for example, is writing something up, it'll pop right up. So we get it immediately. And then we can call the student down. Sorry. And then we get it through Genesis. So then it comes directly up, so then we're able to see exactly who did what class they're in. We can call the student down. And that's how we're able to see the referrals. It used to be written, but now it's all in Genesis.
And then where should we document the meetings that we're having with the families?
It's either going to be in notes or in, Ms. Harry has a folder that she keeps a lot of all the parent conferences.
And the strategic plans, where are those kept? Once you identify from the student that's referred, and then the strategic plan plans, where is that documented?
That's usually in the administrator's office.
And how often is the follow-up?
Well, I meet with students every single day, so it all depends on which student it is, and if it's their appointment time, it all depends.
And then for the climate and culture surveys, how often do those go out?
We do one at the beginning, mid-year, and then we're going to do the one in the spring.
And then once you receive that data, what's that process?
Then we meet together as a team, and then we try to come up with different strategies to see what works best. What came out of the survey, to see where we might want to try to target those areas, if it's feasible.
Question for you. How often do you meet with the team that you work with? Do you have like regular operational meetings or?
We meet just about every week. And then I work with Mr. Patterson directly, so we meet with kids all the time. So we're like the, I guess we want to say Tom and Jerry or something. we tag team, so that's like, we're like our main team, but then we work with everybody. Tom and Jerry, I know.
So do you have a process and procedures that you follow? And if so, tell me what that looks like.
Our process and procedures that we follow?
Yeah.
So,
culture and climate.
Oh, for culture and climate.
Yeah. What's your process and procedures of your day-to-day work?
So my day-to-day work, like I said, in the morning, I come in, I have to work with the target students. I bring them down, I work with them, then I call the parents. I try to work with we come up with strategies so that, like, a lot of the kids, a lot of the issues is getting up in the morning, which we know. So I try to give them different ideas of how to get themselves here in the morning. Some kids have a lot of different issues, like, I don't want to go into, but some of them are working, a lot of different things. So
let me stop you right there so I can give you what I want. So what I'm looking for you to tell me is, what is your process or procedure that you say a child doesn't attend school? So what is the process that you follow?
Well, when a child doesn't attend school, like I said, we run an attendance report. So then if I don't have to go out to go see a child, that's the resource person. But I would reach out if a student, let's say, is out 4 straight days or 4 days, or a student is on my list and it's not there on the check-in day, I do reach out to that parent to see if the student, like, what's the well-being, how he or she is doing, because they didn't show up for the check-in. So that's one thing that I do.
Next step.
If the student isn't there, then if I speak.
Continues not to show up, what's the next step? Tell me.
Well, then that's when it goes to Mr. Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham. So after a certain point, it's out of my hands.
So what do you handle?
I handle attendance. I handle discipline.
So what part of that do you handle? So you just handle attendance only. If they don't show up, then it's passed off to someone else.
No. If they don't show up at a certain point, it goes to someone higher than me, of course. But I'm just talking about like the daily, like check-ins. And so if a student is
So after the first time, after the second time, after the third time?
now then we have to go by the code of conduct. So after that, it's a totally different conversation. So the code of conduct, so if you're absent 3 times, 4 times, like that, or 18 times, you lose your credit for the year. So that's a totally different conversation.
Can I jump in? What happens is Mr. Field and Mr. Patterson in the morning takes care of students who are late. If we have students, they are responsible for monitoring, pulling those students, and again, it's usually a large number of students. It's now down, as you can see on the report, it's about 50 now. So you have to contact parents because these are repeated offenders. You're calling, you're keeping check. Eventually, if it continues, that goes through guidance and then counseling, and then it goes through the attendance department. He moves to the next strategy where now we're preparing for lunch, right? We have small facilities. So Mr. Fields and Mr. Patterson, we have 4 lunch periods. So therefore, he takes 2 lunch periods, Mr. Patterson takes 2 lunch periods, so that we can do other things, even though administrators are still doing lunch duty. They're the main arteries who monitor those other staff, because we have a small in-building and then we have the trailer we have outside. One security is working all of that. So they are responsible, he's responsible for taking care of that lunch with about 220 students and maybe 7 staff.
So in looking at this, and this is just a nice suggestion, in looking at process and procedure, when you look at culture and climate, it basically, what you're telling me is a job responsibility that he just does every day. But it doesn't intertwine or tell me what he's actually doing to ensure that the culture and climate of this school is maintained. So that's kind of like what I'm looking for.
Well, it does. It has, 1 minute, I'll let you speak. It has everything to do with that, because remember, we struggle here with behavior. We have some outside. It is critically important for Mr. Fields and Mr. Patterson to deal with students, because when we have things that happen in the community, they have the skill set and the relationship with those students to offset those behaviors. We have had 5 actual altercations in this building, but we have had over 30 active situations that could have potentially caused us way more problems. And so having them as the culture to mitigate that situation or those situations is worth its weight in value, because they get to call parents, they get to intercede, they have the relationship that there has a schedule that kids come down and meet, right? So it offset those behaviors. We have students who come in who, are offset by parents.
So they're meeting with students. See, that's what you didn't say. They're meeting with, because what you gave me is, okay, they're calling for attendance, then they're in the lunchroom. That's what you gave me. You didn't tell me that they're mitigating, okay, if something is happening in the building, they are now mitigating that and talking with those parents and those children. That's the part you didn't tell me, because I'm trying to see how it all intertwines.
Yes,
because
that's the focus. They have to meet with those parents, because a lot of times if we're evaluating, I'm in a meeting, something's happening, who is taking care of those parents? We need to get parents in at any time. Sometimes they meet at 5 o'clock. After track practice, he might need to meet with a parent because it's something that they are dealing with, and we sit once a week and really talk about what's going on as a school. But all of that information is generated in Genesis. So who we're meeting with, and as you can see, if we could go back, I think he meets with, it's regulated to like 7 parents a week. There might be more, But it's mandated that he's meeting with at least 7 parents based on all the parents that we meet with as an administrator.
So he does more than just attendance.
Oh, yeah.
I assign Saturday detention. I do lunch detentions. We do lunch groups. I mean,
If you could just kind of like, to give just a suggestion, a good understanding of this, the mitigation and, you know, all those things that the job really does, you know, for the school to change the culture of the school, that'd be great because it'd tell us a whole lot than, you know, a couple of these slides, because I'm just thinking he's handling based on what's communicated, of just handles attendance and goes and works out in the lunchroom with kids. So that's what I see. But if you could give me some like process and procedure, it tells us a whole different story.
So, you know, we can put that together for you, but please know that, you know, it's so important. Mr. Fields also does all of the surveys for students, staff, and parents. So he put it out and we push it out through our counseling department. So that way, we're making sure that every student at every grade level, every parent gets it. Like
So
the survey
Parents,
Parents, students, and staff. There are 3 different surveys that go out. This year, we're including a community survey, and we're trying to figure out as a team how to push that out.
Are we getting a lot of our surveys back from the students?
Yes. Yes, because we have creative ways to do that. Like, for example, the one at Christmas time, in order to get into Toys for Tots, you had to complete it and flash your receiving that you went in. So we usually get the full student body, or we have a meeting in here.
3 different languages.
Yes, yes. And if you go on, I think it might be online, so I'll send it to you so you guys can see the survey before it was like completely completed. But we'll send a report out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fields, for this presentation. I just have a quick question. Being that, like I always mention, one of our goals as a district is the culture and climate, and you're in charge of the culture and climate here at the high school. What are some programs that you have put together with your team that have been successful at the high school that can be replicated at our other locations?
For the younger levels, you said?
Right, yes, such as, you know, like the junior high school, which eventually they're gonna come here, right? Like they're the next group. And so I would like to know what are some of those programs that have been successful that you have put together.
Well, one is the lunch groups have been very successful because it gives everybody a chance to like express themselves first and hear everyone out. So it's very important. I always tell everyone, make sure you hear somebody. I mean, you can always listen. Make sure you hear what they're saying to you. So there's always 2 sides. So those lunch groups are always good. And then we get a lot of stuff, a lot of things from the kids out there, and it really opens up our eyes to see what's really going on in the school too.
Okay, but you will say that would maybe be a program?
That would be, yeah, because, and then it's a comfortable, like a more relaxed environment, and then the kids seem to like that a lot.
Okay. And thank you. Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
One last question. You say you meet with about 50 students a day that are late.
That are late,
like
yeah.
Pretty significant portion of the population.
But from where it began, it dropped so much. It dropped, I mean, even 50 is a high number. We're trying to, of course, we're trying to get it down much lower. But the way where it started and where it is now, it's gotten so much better.
So the question I have is, what are you doing to sort of mitigate that? What is working? What are you trying that you see hasn't worked? What support could you possibly need that you're not getting to get that number down? 50 students a day. I don't know how many students are in here, but is that about 20%?
We have 921 students, and I will tell you, attendance across the state is very difficult. Students are late for whatever reason. That is why we have stars. We have some students who are constantly late. We have a student in stars now who, one of the parent was deported. And so therefore she now works at Amazon at 9 p.m. at night. And she wasn't coming to school, so she got off at 3 a.m. So therefore, it was important for us to input the STARS program. Go ahead.
And how is she doing now?
She's doing fine because she's in STARS. So therefore, she works from 3 o'clock. She doesn't have to get here by 8 o'clock in the morning. And now she comes in from 3 to 7, and she goes to work at 9 o'clock at night with her parent, and gets off at 3 a.m. She's a senior, so she's already 18. So that works, right? But again, we're trying to put programs in place, and I know that some of the questions Mr. Fields is feeling right now, a lot of it's embedded within the structure of the school, right? I know culture and climate, but culture and climate is what has changed the dynamics of Abraham Clark.
So I can appreciate that individual example, and thank you for bringing that up, because I think that's a success story. But the question I'm asking is not individually, why do we have 50 students that are late? It's what are we doing with those, because you brought the number down, is what you said. The number was high.
Well, we put the number down because they meet with those students. We talk to parents. I will tell you, we have programs where we do awards for students who are showing up on time, attendance awards. We're having ice cream social for kids who are doing the work. But again, listen, we can put all the programs in place. I make those 7 a.m. phone calls because I know some of you receive those phone calls early in the morning as a board member that, you need to get your student here on time. We had testing last week. Yes, we have a large number of students make up because we started to test at 8:30. They should have been here at 7:45. Those messages went out every single day, twice a day, and we still have a large number of students who need to take a makeup test because they got here late. It's something that we're working with. As you can see, the numbers were like 150 a day. It's down to 50.
Are we?
And it's not every single day. It depends. Like today it rained, there was a lot of them.
No, it's not a try.
So the question, I haven't gotten to the question yet, right? So my question is, what have we done that we have seen to be successful? But are there certain strategies that we could implement that we don't have the resources for yet? That maybe you're waiting for, that we can work toward? So in other words, what has worked and what has not worked?
Seems like harassing the parents, seems like it's been working a little bit more.
No, you need to harass them.
Calling them and getting on them seems like it helped a little bit more. So. You gotta get on the parents to get these kids up.
That's the parents' job to do that.
Oh, well, that's a whole nother conversation, is getting in contact with them, or some of the things is just tough. Yeah.
Personally, I don't agree with the thing is yes, you hold the parent accountable, but I was late every day when I went to school. My parents went to work early in the morning, and they left us, my brother and I, home to get ready to go to school. Now, whether we got to school on time or not, that was on us.
And guess what? You should
They also beat you, you didn't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Every day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm not saying that that's it,
Google's fine, I'd rather I'm on the feed for everybody, so I'm gonna kind of tilt it. So I'm not, I might see. All right. Is that good? Everybody can see? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, good evening, everyone. As you know, this time of the year, I call it the Super Bowl for finance, is that we prepare the school budget. And this has been quite a year. Everybody has seen what's been going on throughout New Jersey regarding budgets, regarding a lot of reductions. You see on the federal level, we have challenges in terms of other, not getting all the information. There was a lot of delays. So coming into this budget season, there was a lot of things that were kind of uncertain after the governor's address, where she did talk about a lot of things that they need to fix. She did indicate that they're going to be looking at things a lot more intensely. I do also want to mention that in last year, prior to the new governor coming on board, they did start a state aid review and trying to change the state aid formula. That's still ongoing. So we don't know what the outcome will be. Obviously, there's a new governor and a new commissioner of education, so we should be finding out what those things were. But I did go and represented a few districts at those meetings because I still believe that a lot of issues that we as districts, we're still facing. And this current 6%, although it was nice to get that, it's still not enough to sustain many of these budgets. So although this year we are in a pretty, and you'll see you as a district are in a good position in terms of budgeting, and that we don't have to do a lot of the other cuts that a lot of other districts are doing. We still have things to look at, and we still have to plan out how we're going to sustain this budget over the next 5 years. Okay? As always, the key is always to maintain our educational programs. So as we looked at the budget, we looked at it in a very holistic way. We didn't want to take any, we didn't look at any positions that were student-based. We looked at positions where there were alternatives or ways we could reduce staffing that did not affect the classroom. So that's how we went about that. We met with every principal. We met with every director, and we sat and talked to them. We listened to what the issues they had, and they actually presented us with some of their recommendations and needs for their classrooms, for their buildings. It was both educational and facility driven, and we considered all of that when we looked at the budget. One of the other things that we also looked at was the facilities. As you know, there's a lot of things that needs to be remedied in the schools, and we've been doing a lot of intensive work to see what each school needs, what some of the projects we want to move forward with. Dr. Fisher mentioned earlier how we're looking to do a new school that will support not just our pre-K program, but our elementary programs. So really trying to deal with some of the enrollment issues we've been having here in the district. So all of that is part of this budget, and not just part of this budget, but it's part of the next 5 years as we plan different strategic methods we'll use for making sure that we sustain all the programs and facilities here in Roselle. But as we put these things together, we did face a lot of challenges. One of the things that we start the budget with all the time is coming up with the budget assumptions. How are we going to look at this budget, and what things do we have to take in consideration? As you know, health benefits is one of the biggest concerns we have. A few years ago, pre-COVID, the increases used to be maybe 10%, things like that. Then there was a change to the health benefits, and a couple of years, if you recall, there was 0% increases. Now, I don't know about you, but when that happened, I said, it's gonna catch up with us soon. And here we are, where a lot of districts are facing 20 to 30% increases in health benefits. A lot of it coming from prescription, on the prescription side, which is higher than even the 20% we see here. So when you look at that number with 21% increase, that is the average increase when you look at both health, prescription, and dental. So we still have these challenges with health benefits, and that's something that, according to the governor, you heard her address, that they're gonna look to put a panel together to start looking at that. But this is a serious issue because we surely can't maintain increases like this year to year. Special education, those costs, again, with our most neediest students, they continue to go up, and rightfully so. But even as they go up, we have to figure out how we're gonna deal with these increases and still serve all of our students. Transportation, that has been an issue for a number of years now. The state has, when they changed their policy and regulations around bus drivers and things like that, the cost skyrocketed. And now we're dealing with those costs in terms of routes, and we continue to do that. One of the things we're gonna do going into next year, we're gonna try to consolidate some of those routes that we have, and we're gonna look to bid out transportation for field trips and athletics to also help us reduce some of those costs. Our charter schools, we had a nice discussion about just making sure the residency for all of our charter school students is appropriate, but that also increased. It increased based on the projected enrollment from the charter school. So we had nothing to do with the enrollment and that projection. We won't have numbers until next December that then certifies how many students are in the charter schools. So there is a possibility of that number going up or down come December. Okay. The revenue shifts, we got a notice from the state Department of Education that we were all to budget 25% reductions in all federal programs. And that came from the state level, who got that from the federal level. So going into next year, anything that we're getting federally, the expectation is that we're gonna see a 25% reduction in that. And then, as we know, we got a 6% increase for state aid, but it's not a straight 6% because the increase, the charter schools took some of that percentage increase. Everybody always looks at, how much money did y'all get in the state aid? And, they'll all see the 3 million, but that 3 million isn't what we actually are getting because there are reductions in both we saw reductions based on the charter school increase, and we also did receive a decrease in preschool. So our preschool aid also went down. And then just the uncertainties. There's so many things that we need to just address in regards to facilities. One of the things we're working on is a comprehensive short and long-term report of all the different maintenance and capital improvements we need for all the buildings. We've been working over the last couple of months with architects and with a couple of other consultants that have walked these buildings to tell us what needs to be done throughout all of our facilities. So we're gonna have that list from them in the next, I'm hoping next month, and we'll also make that presentation to you. But the key there is to really get ahead of the maintenance issues and not be so reactive, but have a plan in place of how we're gonna address that. The state, the Department of Education through the School Development Authority, they provide us finances, but they usually focus those on what we call priority 1 and 2 issues, which is really health and safety. So we're gonna try to get that list together so that we know what issues we have to address in priority order. So we'll have that for you shortly, and that will also be something we continue to do because we do believe that we can do a lot of these things based on the plan, that we won't have to pay as much as we do when they happen as an emergency. One of the things that we always talk about, and I like to bring up, is that the biggest thing we always have to be mindful of is enrollment. So one of the things that we do on October 15th, all the schools throughout New Jersey, they count all the students. And we spent a lot of time this year making sure prior to October 15th that we had all the numbers we needed in place. We did see a slight, and I will say slight reduction, as you see there, in the total enrollment. But one of the big things that we made, and I want to congratulate Mr. T-Bow because he was behind a lot of this, is that we made sure we worked with our principals and put out the word that we needed applications for free and reduced. Free and reduced application is one of the bedrocks to how you get funded through state aid and through federal funds. And even though we have a number, if you ever, one day I'll go through the state aid formula with you, but what you'll see is the actual number of children we have enrolled. That goes into a weighted calculation. So even though we have like 3,000 students, we actually get funded for 5,000. And it's all based on the free and reduced. And with that increase of our free and reduced numbers, we did see a nice increase in state aid. So that is relative to that. So that work needs to continue, and it's important that everybody continues to work together to get those numbers in place, because we don't want to see that go back down. We wanted to say, because we still think we're not at the level we need to be, but it's a lot better than what it was last year. And then, like I said, preschool enrollment, the key there is that we did see from that year to the next, which is the current year, reported was an increase. However, in the new 26-27 enrollment, that number did see a decrease. We're working with the state, the Department of Preschool to see if we could get that number back up, because we did an adjustment to those projections, and we're hoping that they'll give us the difference in what we need to run the preschool program next year. Okay. And this is the chart, and you can see this is a 7-year analysis of what the enrollment is. And it's always important to look at it, and that's how we can, based on trends, see where we stand as a district. And you see, I think somebody mentioned that we still are receiving a lot of children. So we're not seeing a huge reduction. There's a lot of districts that are seeing a lot of reduction. Our big changes comes when we see the charter schools. A lot of children are moving towards charter schools, and that's why you see that increase in the projection. And one of the things we all talked about was how do we continue to let parents and the community know about all the great programs we have here in Roselle. So that push to make everybody understand that we have great programs here, and there's not always a need to go somewhere else. You could just stay right here and get everything you need for your students. So as we put the revenue together, one of the things that we were very sensitive to was, what are we going to do about the local taxes? There was a reassessment here in Roselle. Assessment, the equalized value of all the property here in Roselle went up significantly. And that did hit the taxpayers, and there's an increase based on that. So being very mindful of that, we did not want to put an additional burden on the taxpayers here by increasing the state, the increase for the tax levy. Okay. Now, we did look to increase a few other accounts. Interest, we did have an increase in some of our reserves, so we did increase some of the interest earned. And you can see here, overall, even though we went with some of the increase and you did get a 6% increase in state aid, overall there's a reduction of about 1.4% in total revenue. And that's where the budget starts. It starts with revenue. So once we know how much we can estimate, then we know how much we can spend, right? So we took that into consideration to see how we're going to take that into account. So when you look at the appropriations, you can see from year to year, we did put some reductions in. And most of the reductions you'll see was trying to be very conservative with some of the non-essential activities that we have here in the district. Like I mentioned before, we did not reduce any classroom personnel. And all in all, we didn't reduce any personnel. We looked at some vacancies, and that's where we took the reductions in. So there's no staff being released to accommodate this budget. We just took into account what items we could ask the staff to cut. We did ask all principals and directors to cut their supplies and equipment down by 15%. So that did aid that. So we was able to do that. We stopped spending in the current year budget in the end of January so that we could use some of those savings into next year's budget. So those are all of the conservative things we did in order to not reduce staff in this budget. Overall, we believe that, as you can see, benefits is one of the big increases you see here in the budget. You don't really see a big increase in the regular instruction, and you see a slight decrease in the special ed instruction. What you see there is really the activity of the vacancies. Because everybody received, based on the settled contracts, a 3.9% increase, so that is in the budget, their increases. Okay. Here you can see, and sometimes people ask, like, what are you spending, how does the money get spent here? The majority of the money, as you can see, goes towards instruction. That is what we do. That's what we're in the business of. So you can see that's where that is. And that's mostly in salaries and then in benefits. And everything else, as you see, really is then support services, again, for students. And then you'll see all the other costs. And you can tell with the, outside of the charter school and transportation, which is also for all, Roselle's students, you can see everything else is pretty much secondary in regards to what we really spend all the money on, which is, again, the classroom and the student achievement.
Dr. Simmons, before you leave on that slide, regular instruction, is that salaries?
Yes, most of that is salaries. As a matter of fact, almost all of it is salaries. In regular instruction, that's where you see all your teachers, all your instructional aides, and the supplies and equipment for that staff. So that's all part of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Again, just another, Dr. Fisher and I was talking about, we're very visual people, so putting up graphs and having these things sometimes helps in understanding a lot of this stuff that we're dealing with in terms of revenue and appropriations. But again, you can see the use of the money and feel comfortable that most of the money is going towards the classroom. We're not overextending ourselves in many other areas. Between most of that is supplies and benefits, and then support services, which includes the child study team, attendance, technology, and a lot of other things. Okay. As I mentioned, we had that increase. The increases mainly came from salary and benefits. Tuition. Tuition is done, out-of-district tuition is done with whatever the private providers are charging. They get an audited number, and then we then get billed one way or another if it increases or decreases. We saw a 15% increase in their costs. As you know, a lot of needs for our students are increasing, not decreasing, so that's requiring a lot more support. Our decreases, again, we looked at transportation. As a matter of fact, we had a nice long discussion for a few weeks with the commission just to get our transportation understood and to work with them to really manage who and what we would do going forward with transportation. So we have a really good system in place right now. And overall, you'll see the other decreases in other instruction. These are all outside programs. This is not the day-to-day programs in regards to, the regular instructional day. These are more after school and different things like that. So there are some decreases there. And then administration also, we did some decreases in that area. As you see, the money still follows the student. So most of the money we're spending, most of it is going towards instruction. And that's the key. When we looked at any cuts that we considered, it was not an instructional side, it was more in either being more efficient or looking at programs that we may not be able to work with, and that's where some of those 15% reductions came from. Again, this is a breakdown of where our salaries lie. As you can see, most of it, once again, is in the regular instruction. Again, that's classroom teachers. The special ed instruction is classroom teachers. And then other instruction is, again, is more the after-school or alternative programs or summer programs, and that's also teachers. So athletics, we still have a strong athletic amount in terms of all of the sports and things that we move forward with. We have support services. Once again, the support services are our child study team members, our nurses, and other supports in the school, guidance and things like that. Admin is 1.4. That includes not just central admin, but that includes all the principals and any other clerks that works in those areas. Again, this is just another way so you can see the footprint of where we have and where most of our salaries lie. And then, like I mentioned, we recommended a 0% increase for our tax levy. Now, the unfortunate thing here is when we do the tax levy, as you can see, even though the second column did not change, your valuation did, and you see that amount. You actually went up 300, is that billion or million in terms of valuation. So that's where the change is coming from. You can see the tax rate, how that has gone down in regards to it's spread out over more of a valuation. And then the assessed value, which is another significant change. The assessed value for the average home in Roselle went from $122,000 to $482,000. So when you see those changes, which is again, based on the reevaluation, the increase that unfortunately a lot of taxpayers will see is based on the reevaluation and not based on the tax levy that we're proposing, which is 0%.
So that $3,262, that's on average what each household will commit to the Board of Ed?
To your tax bill.
That's what I mean?
Yeah.
That from the Board of Ed?
Correct.
Okay. But if we had gone up, that number could have been...
That would have been higher.
Okay.
That number would have been higher. And and that's why I'm saying, trying to do this, and to your point, especially after a year like this, is like, how do you do that to, your taxpayers? So we were very conscious to look inside the budget to make sure that wasn't the case. But on top of that, you now still have, this uncertainty, especially we have fixed income people, which we know we have. I mean, one of the things that I looked into is what is the population here, and you have a very high low-income population. Yeah. So a population like that handling this kind of an increase, that's concerning. It's very concerning. So some of the things that's why we want to plan better, be able to manage this better as we go into the future. As you can see, it's not something we're doing that is causing the increase, because we saw the increases in the budget. We do need those increases. I mentioned that we took a lot of this from vacancies. But that means next year we don't have the vacancies, so we don't have that cushion to do this again. So that's why whatever we do together to kind of manage this over the next 3 to 5 years is going to be critical. Because what we don't want to do is overtax the community. But you had another question.
So the borough did a reassessment. Is that published anywhere?
Yeah, I got all this information from Google. Went online, and all of the assessed values for the whole state is up there for 2025, for 2024, and you can see all this information that's public. So all of this information is available for all communities. As a matter of fact, every county in New Jersey, you can find this information for them. Again, this is another, just pictorially, that's the differences in the rates. And you can see just by the picture that the changes, and I think the assessed value for the average home is the big one. You can really see that almost $300,000 in what was and what is today. And that's significant. It's not easy to go through these things. I've gone through that with other districts, and it just hurts the taxpayer and it makes things very difficult, very difficult.
So we're going to be here. So we're going to be locked in flat, right?
We're locked in 0%, yeah, it's 0% for the whole year. We can't promise next year, but right now it's 0%. Yes.
And I have more questions in April.
Huh?
I have more questions in April.
So, thank you for the presentation, and, we're locked in at 0%. Was that last year as well, we were locked in at 0%?
No, we didn't do one. We did 2% last year.
Yeah, I think we did 2%.
We went to CAC last year.
Okay, so.
And we only spent, on average, $1,256.
So I just want to say, to the administration, thank you, and for, Board of Education for being fiscally responsible, and thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Because,
Women get it done.
based on what has occurred in our town, you know, like you said, this is a low-income town. It would really hurt our residents.
Yeah.
And we don't want to hurt our residents.
No, not at all, not at all.
So, thank you, board members, and thank you, administration, for being fiscally responsible, because, you know, because of that tax assessment, you know, that was done in 2025, it could really hurt our community. So, again, thank you.
And we continue to just look at everything. I mean, it's a struggle. You know, when we did all the budget, you know, meetings, everybody wasn't happy to reduce. And a few people tried to sneak in a couple of things to get it, but, you know, we was, you know, we knew what the end result we needed to get to. And the last thing we wanted to do was to cut any kind of educational program and then put any additional burdens. If we can handle the burden, you know, in this year, let's do it. You know, we never know what happens year to year, but in this year, if we could figure out a way, let's figure it out, and that's what we did. Again, we maintain the programs that we have here. It's unfortunate that, you know, a lot of, you know, the tax levies that were given out, not tax levies, the state aid that was given out, the governor did put more money in the budget for some, but some lost. But even with what a lot of districts got, even if they did get the 6% increase, they're still cutting. They're still reducing. You know, I've talked to a number of VAs and superintendents, and they're still doing major reductions. So I think we're in a better position if you look statewide than most, because we're not doing that. But I will say this, and we had a very healthy discussion today, myself and Dr. Fisher, that we just have to really figure out what this 5-year plan looks for us. How do we reduce costs but still maintain strong educational programs? And we're going to all work on that together, not just myself and him, but all of us as a board, as a community, because what we don't want to do is continue to put this burden on the public. And I think that's the biggest thing we have to kind of all do together, because a lot of people are feeling this. I have total sympathy over all the people that may get letters that they won't be hired next year. That's serious, you know, that's a serious thing when you do that, and that's not what we want to do. But that's what a lot of people are going to be facing. So we're going to look at this holistically, continue to do that, work with what we can do for year after year over the next few years to see what we can do to sustain what we have. Okay? That's all I have. Any questions? And we'll, you know, this is just a preliminary budget that we're submitting. We have a good month to look at this. So if you see anything, have any ideas, you know, we can still discuss that and you know, make different decisions. I know Dr. Fisher and I and Mr. T-Bout, we was talking about some of the capital programs we want to put in this. So we may have some of those suggestions that we'll take out of capital projects reserve. So again, it won't hit the taxpayer. It'll come out of the reserve, the savings that we have. So that's what we're going to try to do to move those kind of projects. And then we're also going to solicit the School Development Authority to see what they can start giving us in regards to our district, because we do qualify. We do have a high low-income population. We should qualify for some 100% funding for a lot of things. So we're going to be doing our due diligence to push those agendas to see what we can continue to get for our community. Okay?
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Regarding your slide with the population, you illustrated the growth in different populations.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know specifically the preschool.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a cap on the total number of people that total number of students we can put in preschool?
That's a great question.
Notice it went up significantly. Very large.
You kind of walking into a realm that we're really working with. Our universe is 400. So when you see the number of 76, we're way under our population. And we're under our population because we don't have the facilities. So when Dr. Fisher's talking about looking to build a new building, that's exactly why we need to do that. Because there's many more 3 and 4-year-olds we should be serving. So, but we don't have the space for that. And we haven't had any new buildings in Roselle for what, 50, 60 years? I mean, it's a long time since we had a new building. So there's a definite need for a new building. And so that we can accommodate all of our students. So what you're saying is exactly what we do. We only have the capacity right now. I believe our number that we're putting in is 93 students for next year with a total of 120. So we'll have some of our special ed children be inclusion in those classrooms, but the majority will be gen ed, and I think it's about 95 students that we can accommodate right now, which is about 8 classes, which is way under the population that we should be serving.
So, taking that into account, that we're underserving our community, once we get to capacity, will that help even out the budget, or will that add to the expense?
It would definitely help to even out because, right now, unless things change, we get funding for every preschool student we put in, any general ed preschool student we put in. And that's why we submitted our paperwork to have that increase, because we want to increase those numbers, at least by from 76 to 90 something, which is an additional 20 something children. So that's the purpose, to get that additional state aid. And if we do that across the board and hit that capacity, then we will get the aid for those also. So we do get extra money if we increase the capacity of the community to serve all the children. Great question, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
You guys, are you walking home? Is he walking home?
That must be the chair. That must be the chair she was talking about.
I know, I just thought his
I know, I did talk to her. So she said she'll have a I think.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Simmons, and thank you, Mr. Fields, for your presentations. Now we're going to move on. Okay, so for this section, may I have a motion and a second to accept and approve governance items and presentations as presented? Second? Any discussion? Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion, Mr. T, have a roll call.
Mrs. Chavez?
Yes.
Mrs. Cortez?
Yes.
Dr. Atkins?
Yes.
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Mrs. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. Woody? Dr. Washington?
Yes.
Motion
Thank you. Now comes the section, before I open public comment, I just want to advise the public that the next Board of Education workshop meeting will be held on Thursday, April 23rd, and the next monthly Board of Education meeting will be on Monday, April 27th. Now comes the section of the meeting for public comment as mandated by this board's policies. Members of the public who wish to address the board during the public comment portion of this meeting may do so for 4 minutes. Please come to the microphone, provide your name and address for the record. When speaking, please address all comments to the board president. Public comment is not intended to be a question and answer period. It is the time of the meeting during which the public may speak on any topic associated with the business of this Board of Education. All public comments must conform to basic standards of civility. Disruptive, threatening, defamatory, and/or profane comments, as well as political commentary, will not be allowed. If spoken during the meeting, the commenter will be stopped and may be removed from the meeting. Is there anyone coming to the microphone for public comment? None?
Okay.
Seeing as there's no public comment, I want to close public comment at 9:36 p.m. And we're going to get to the voting. But before I get to the voting, I want to say Happy Women's History Month to all my board colleagues, and thank you to Dr. Fisher and the team for the beautiful flowers. Thank you for giving us our flowers. Now, may I have a motion and a second to accept and approve public comments and superintendent resolutions 1-1 through 1-15?
Chavez.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question, Dr. Fisher. Can you just clarify, just confused on the June 2nd, is this half day or staff? Is that staff and students?
That's election.
Yes.
So for elections, so they close on one side, students.
Oh, so, thank you. So, due to the calendar being adjusted due to the inclement weather, we exhausted all our snow days. The only other opportunity that we actually polled the entire district. We sent out a survey to the entire staff, and I would say I had about 90% of the respondents agreed with a June 2nd as opposed to impacting the spring break. So we chose the June 2nd date, and we're gonna have to do some configuration on those voting sites that we have, so we have a plan in place to address those locations on that day.
Right, thank you.
I think that was a smart thing to do, by polling the staff instead of just voting for them or making the change without their input, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing that there's no further discussion, may I have a roll call?
Mrs. Chavez?
Yes.
Dr. Atkins?
Yes.
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
Ms. Cortez?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Mrs. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. Woody? And Dr. Washington?
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to personnel, may I have a motion? May I have a motion and a second to accept and approve personnel items 2-1 through 2-26?
I'd like to make a motion to accept personnel items.
Second?
Second, Cortez?
Is there any discussion? Seeing as there's no further discussion, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Mrs. Chavez,
Yes.
Ms. Santos,
Yes.
Mrs. Washington,
Yes.
and Dr. Washington.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to the business section, may I have a motion and a second to accept and approve business items 3.1 through 3.12 and 3.13 through 3.15 on the agenda? Second? Any discussion? Seeing that there's no further discussion, may I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Chavez,
Yes.
Mrs. Cortez,
Yes.
Dr. Atkins,
Yes.
Ms. Bond,
Yes.
Ms. Santos,
Yes.
Ms. Turnage,
Yes, abstaining from 3.3 and 3.4.
Mrs. Washington,
Staying for 3.1 and 3.2, but,
Ms. Woody, and Dr. Washington.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to policies, regulations, and bylaws, may I have a motion and a second to accept and approve for first reading item number 4.2?
So said Chavez.
Second. Turner.
Any discussion? Seeing as there's
4.1.
there's only 4.2
There's only 4.2, so.
for first reading. Yeah, there's no 4.1. I think that's the one that we pulled, and there's just like 4.2s on the agenda. There was something that was pulled from the policy, like through committee, that didn't come from committee. So they didn't change it, it was just like 4.2. Any other questions? Seeing that there's no further discussion, may I have a roll call?
Mrs. Chavez, Ms. Turnage,
Yes.
Dr. Atkins,
Yes.
Ms. Bond,
Yes.
Mrs. Cortez, Ms. Santos,
Yes.
Ms. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Woody, and Dr. Washington.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to curriculum and instruction, may I have a motion and a second to accept and approve curriculum and instruction items 5.1 through 5.24? Ms. Washington? Second? Any discussion? Seeing as there's no discussion, may I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Turnage,
Yes.
Dr. Atkins,
Yes.
Ms. Bond,
Yes.
Mrs. Chavez,
Yes.
Mrs. Cortez,
Yes.
Ms. Santos,
Yes.
Dr. Washington.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Prior to adjourning, there was a item, Dr. Fisher, that I'd like to add for this business discussion for next month. The evaluation system that we're currently using for our teachers, the Kim Marshall model, I believe. Can we discuss that next month? And how we're using it, if it's effective? Now, may I have a motion and a second to
I'll make a
adjourn?
motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone, for this meeting. Sorry for too long, for the presentation. Thank you.